Good morning, happy Sunday morning everybody, however else you're watching through the world. This is Forever United TV. It's your Sunday morning update show, 8 o'clock here in Manchester. I'm bringing you up to date with everything going on with Manchester United. Before we get going with it, you can see the headline, you can see the title and the thumbnail. This isn't usually what I like to do. I'm not driving any negative here at all. I'm just reporting on what has been said. I want to break it down because I want to give every single side to every single possibility when we report on things that are happening with Manchester United. And this is important because it's there and it's been written. I'm going to go through it, dissect it. I'm going to tell you what's true and what's not, and then I'm going to give you my verdict straight after it as well. So bear with me. Don't be too concerned with everything that's going on in headlines. We're going to break everything down and then I'll give you the verdict afterwards. We've got updates on other transfer dealings with Manchester United, Ruben Amorim's ultimatum and his demands to Sir Jim Ratcliffe and when he wants business conducted by, and what's important in terms of Manchester United's outgoings. Manchester United linked to another centre-back again, who you will know very well, and no, it's not Gerard Branthwaite. I'm going to talk to you about that as well as, do you know what, because all of the Sunday papers are out today, aren't they? I'm going to talk a little bit more about some more reports in Football Talks right after this show as well. So you've got a double dose of content this morning on your Sunday morning. So grab your coffee, get yourself set up in bed or in front of the TV. Just mute the TV because that's talking garbage. We're going to get through the real facts here on Forever United TV this morning. I'm going to go through more on Football Talks after that. So let's get into it and let's get going. Rocking the retro training top again today. Link in the description for OK jerseys. Lots of people have been asking me about the jerseys I've been wearing recently. So just click in there. I'll drop some information in at the end of this show as well if you are interested. Of course, I'll go in a bit more detail on that. But I want to get through the news first of all and get into what's happening and a story regarding Bryan Mbeumo. And all of a sudden, because Spurs are about to announce a new manager, the Daily Mirror have run a story which was doing the circles last night on social media. You'd have seen it. If you haven't, this is what has been said, that Manchester United's deal for Bryan Mbeumo now under massive threat because Thomas Frank has told his future employers Spurs and the chiefs there at the Spurs Stadium to go all out and get Bryan Mbeumo. I'm just going to be quite brutally honest and basically break this down as to what it is. That's it. It's bollocks. Sorry to swear on a Monday morning, but I'm just going to break that down now as it really reads. When you see that headline, he's not even the Spurs manager yet, and they're trying to make a story to try and drop Manchester United down, try and make it look like a circus, report it like Manchester United are losing control again. And come on. Seriously, when you look at it now, when you look at everything that's happening at Manchester United, everything that's been reported on this deal, and everybody going into the minor little details of it and where we're at and the updates, it's complete and utter garbage. The Daily Mirror are honestly scraping the absolute barrel with trying to make a headline out of this. It's been completely shut down by people in the know. And that's where I'm going to move to next with this. So anybody looking at this and looking at the headline, the thumbnail, the title, it's not. It's a question mark there because we've got to cover it just to try and break down what's actually real about it and what's not. So to be fair to him, let's have a look into it like we have just done. And then you get through the first paragraph of it and you start laughing and joking. And this is all just an opportunity to have a go at Manchester United to try and make something out of nothing in a headline. That's all this is. It's complete and utter garbage. And just trying to get the clicks, basically, on a headline that really has got nothing behind it at all. Thomas Frank's not even the Spurs manager yet. It's ludicrous. But when you look into everything else, let's just go through the real headlines on this, shall we? And what the Muppeters reported last night regarding Bryan Mbeumo: Manchester United and Brentford are close to agreeing an overall fee for Bryan Mbeumo. That, I think, is where we're at. Yeah, it's Sunday, by the way, everybody. I think I said Monday there at one point. Don't worry, you haven't overslept. It is Sunday. I don't know how many times I've said Monday there, but I do apologise, everybody. Look, when it's Man United, you don't know what day it is at the moment, do you? It could be any day in terms of what's happening with the transfer window. It all seems the same at the moment because nothing stops. But yeah, Bryan Mbeumo to Man United seems to be moving forward. And then the most convincing one of all, which is the one that I've been following the most on this deal with Bryan Mbeumo, came out yesterday. So before this crap headline from the Mirror came out, an update was brought up by Marco Alcaraz. journalists covering this, as we've said before. For those asking about the Bryan Mbeumo deal, negotiations are progressing at a normal pace. Both sides are keen to reach an agreement swiftly, but are cautious and in compromise. Payment structure, initial payments, and add-ons are still being ratified. Optimism from all parties. Agreement will be reached soon. And what we're seeing here is basically that, again, like, the people in the know exactly what's going on. The people in the know exactly where this deal is at with Bryan Mbeumo and what's actually happening. So I think what we can look into here is then what Marco Alcaraz said there about that was before this headline came out, and then move on to what he said afterwards, which was pretty much putting it all to bed. Contrary to reports, Tottenham will not, in capitals, be making a move for Manchester United target Bryan Mbeumo. The player has opted to join United, rejecting interest from Spurs, Arsenal and Newcastle. He has agreed personal terms with Man United, as previously reported. Again, this now, I think, is the journalist in the know, the proper journalist covering everything regarding Bryan Mbeumo, and just making sure that everyone knows exactly where we're at. I think they see these reports, and I think this is proof that this is absolute garbage from the Daily Mirror in Thomas Frank going to Spurs and telling them that they should go and get Bryan Mbeumo. It's been completely made up. And just two stories put together, because Frank's going to Spurs and he's the former manager of Bryan Mbeumo. Spurs are in the Champions League. Let's push and let's get it. Spurs enter the race to sign Bryan Mbeumo because of Thomas Frank. They're the headlines on it. And then you see other journalists like Alcaraz, and then even, to be honest, like what the Muppeteers said, it's just they see these reports and others will follow suit right now. You'll probably see Fabrizio Romano talking about this soon as well. There is no chance that Bryan Mbeumo is going to move to Spurs. I'm sorry, if he's not going to go to Newcastle, if he's not going to go to Arsenal, why the hell would he go to Spurs? I mean, seriously, the story is complete and utter garbage, for one. And like I said at the top of the show, it's simply been put out there because it's Manchester United. And everybody knows that everyone wants to bring Manchester United down and talk about United in a negative way. And I know there's going to be plenty of people talking about this today. There's going to be people wondering what is actually going on. So I wanted to do the show first thing today, get it out there that this is just, again, made up because it's Manchester United, and two stories put together that don't really exist. But they know that people are going to read it because it is a major headline. And this is going to be a massive transfer for Manchester United. Anything to destroy that, they're going to jump all over. And that's what this is. That's where this is at right now. That's where this is moving towards. Because it's got this tiny little bit of a delay and everyone's just trying to figure out these minor details of what's going on. I mean, when you look into what Alcaraz says there on this deal, it is in terms of where we're at. Payment structure, initial payments and add-ons are still being ratified. They're the three main bits of it. So payment structure, how much are the instalments? Pretty much the same as what it was with Wolves. Brentford have already come out and said that they're open to this within the reports that have been covering this. It's been known that they have said that they're happy with the instalments as long as they get their asking price, which is the base 50 million plus the add-ons. Then you've got the initial payment. How much is that and when will that be? Because obviously Manchester United did the same with Matheus Cunha, but then they moved that first payment to the 1st of July. So he's registered after his full year is gone, which is June 30th, which is what player contracts usually run up to, i.e. Jadon Sancho will return to United on the 30th of June. Like Malacia, like Anthony, like Rashford, like their contract and their loan, the season ends on the 30th for players. When it comes to the contractual side of things. So if you register a player on the 1st of July, that player then is moved into the books and finances for the next financial year. So that's what the initial payment is. It'll be how much it is and when it is. And that's been negotiated, obviously. And then the big one at the end, like Alcaraz says, it's the add-ons and exactly how much and detail of them, how they're triggered and things like that. We've discussed that before. You all know where we're up to with that side of things. They just probably take time because there will be a few different triggers for them different add-ons. I've said it like goals scored, appearances, competitions, competing in certain achievements for the club at the end of the season. All of them will be put together and are triggered at a certain point, and a certain amounts will be will be, I think, put to each one of them. So if Mbeumo has a certain goal scoring or appearance, there'll be a certain amount triggered on that. If United qualify for Europe, there'll be a certain amount triggered. If United even get to the Champions League, bang, there you go. That could be it. It doesn't mean that there is £8 to £10 million going in guaranteed. That's why Brentford needed the 50 million base. That's what they want. Everything else is a bonus, which is why when people like Romano report on things like this, they call them bonuses. We call them add-ons in England. It's basically you get your fee, that's your base rate, that's your guarantee, 50 million or 55 million, whatever United have agreed with Brentford, and then everything else on top of that is extra because they trust in the player's ability. And that in the past is where Manchester United have also done the likes of the sell-on clause or the buyback clause. That's when that actually comes in as well. So they're the amount of details that get discussed and figured out. You can imagine they take time. Alcaraz also says this is moving at a normal pace. Both want to have the deal sorted soon. There is no delays. It's just the necessaries and the complexities of the certain add-ons of this deal that are holding things up, that's all. And people see an opportunity to write up another story and try and drive another agenda and a different narrative altogether. And that's where this story is at. So, to round it up and break down what's actually happened there, the story is complete and utter crap. He's not moving to Spurs. You only have to look at the clubs that he has turned down already and has agreed personal terms with Manchester United to know that this story is complete and utter nonsense, made up garbage. I say it again. Spurs or United. I'm sorry. If you've turned down Newcastle and Arsenal already, you're not going to go to Spurs, are you? I mean, come on. It is a bit of a shambles, that place at the moment. Sacking Ange Postecoglou. Obviously just sacking the women's coach as well. Daniel Levy's on a right one, isn't he, right now? But yeah, we'll talk more about that on Football Talks later, actually. But yeah, this, I feel now, I think we can actually see the importance of this transfer as well, how significant this deal is. If people are trying to shoot it down, you've got the likes of the opposition fans and people saying, I've seen Ben Foster actually doing a short, or I think it was a reel or a TikTok the other day, Brian Mbeumo for 250 grand a week wages. Half of them don't have a clue what's going on. They just don't cover enough. They don't do what we do. They don't go into the detail and find out what's actually going on. They just look at the main headline and run with it. So everyone, I'm not having a go at Ben Foster for this. He's just doing what he does. But TalkSport driving the narrative that Manchester United are overpaying, then everybody else jumping on top of that. It's like I've said this before. When you look at Sky Sports, when you look at the transfer screen, when they're going into deadline day or whatever, and it's going through a list of teams' transfers and what they've actually done business-wise. You see it on the side column. It's always there. What have Manchester United done? What have City, Liverpool, blah-de-blah, whichever team it is. And you'll always look at it, and they'll always say, so for instance, Manchester United would have agreed a deal for Brian Mbeumo, which is approximately 50 million down, and then there'll be add-ons taking it to maybe 62, 63 or something like that. It will be 63 million spent by Manchester United. Over-exaggerated, even though they know that a lot of them bonuses and add-ons are very difficult to meet, they will still drive the overspend side of things and make it look like it's a big deal. That's just how the media work. It's complete and utter garbage. It's nonsense. And when you look into the detail and you break it down properly, like we do and a lot of other people do and the finance experts do, and they're the ones that I look at, it's not that bad. It isn't. And United haven't overspent on a player that is going to give them so much more than what they've already got. No one's talking about the prices that Manchester City are paying right now or what Liverpool are paying. Everybody wants to talk about Manchester United. That's it. That's where all the headlines are. And it's just because United are making moves and people don't like it. People don't like Man United coming back again and being good. They want us to stay crap so there's better headlines to write about. That's what it is. And it's laughable. It is funny when you look at it. And that's all this story is. That's all this story is. And I just feel like we're in a position now where we are, I think, on the cusp of something good and people are just trying to shoot it down. That's what I think it is. Let's get into the comments section on this as well. Welcome along, everyone. I've had my little piece at the start of the show there. Thank you, everybody, for joining us on the show this morning. Absolutely epic numbers again over the weekend. And thank you again for joining us today. I'm going to get through a few super chats. First of all, one in from Max says, morning mates, why hasn't the second bid been accepted? It probably has, but they're probably going through the details, like we said, of the minor sort of add-ons and things like this. I think this is where it's at. I think they're happy with the numbers. They just want clarity of the add-ons and installments. So what I see here is in a bid that's probably accepted already. They're happy with the numbers. How do they get to the numbers is what's being discussed now. That's it. So it's minor details. And this deal will happen, so I wouldn't worry about it too much. Too many bang, average journalist, Crook, worst. That's what Alex Crook was talking about the other day on TalkSport. Like, I've known Alex Crook, actually. I've done a show with him. I've spoken to him personally as well. And when he came out with the 250 grand a week wages thing and that United are accepting that, I was like, that's just not true. Where's he got that information from? We know that his wages are approximately, I've seen two reports of about 160 to 175 grand a week. Even Romano has said this. You cannot go against. Well, you can sometimes, obviously, and think Romano's just building something up into nothing. But more often than not, if Romano says that his wages are going to be at this, then you believe what he says. And there's so many different journalists saying that his wages are 175. I just don't get it sometimes why people like that, with the contacts or apparent contacts they've got, would come up with that and make it such a headline. United are not going to pay him 250 grand a week wages. It's sensible. And Ben Jacobs last night did his little Twitter space talking about the transfer, covering all grounds. I think Ben Jacobs did this one because he got caught out the other day by second bid being accepted, and then he had to change his tweets and what he said. So Ben Jacobs dropped a bit of a clanger with his report on this, but he came back afterwards, ratified it, basically just covering himself. And then he did another Twitter space last night where he was saying that Manchester United will walk away. Brentford asked for a high price. I think we all know that the price is pretty much in line and has now been accepted in terms of where we're at. It's not like this is going to go to 70 million, United walk away all of a sudden. We know that Brentford are going to accept just over 60 million. I think that's where United are at now. Even the first bid was only 5 million off that. So United are not going to walk away for the sake of 5 million. But these journalists now will just cover themselves because, let's not forget, it took us about 3 weeks to get Matheus Cunha's details all ironed out and done. And that was without the, obviously, transfer window being open. So there was no drama in that at all. I think now with the window being open, everyone's just making a bigger and bigger deal out of things. And that's where we're at. But I think everyone's happy with what wages Bryan Mbeumo will be on. I think it's fair. I think his price is complete. I think the whole transfer itself and everything that's going on is right bang on it. I agree with absolutely everything that's happened so far. We're not overpaying. We're getting a quality player in his prime, who with all the experience in the Premier League, which we drastically need, he's not on substantial wages. He's not even in the top 10 Man United earners, I don't think, with the wages that he's on. So, come on, grasp the reality of the situation, I say. Okay, let's see some more comments on this. It's all about opinion at the end of the day, and with most pundits, most pundits just don't have the chance to go into detail on every single club, so they're generally covering over everything. It's like they're just speed reading all of the headlines, just getting a general sort of understanding of it. They don't understand it like we would as United fans, or say, for instance, Liverpool fans talking about Liverpool, or Liverpool experts talking about them. They're covering several clubs, and it's difficult a lot of the time for the pundits to know exactly everything that's going on. Like some pundits said, after this season, Amorim was going to be fired and replaced by Southgate. Meanwhile, Ineos are back Amorim. That's it. There's a great report on this, and this is just moving us into the next section now, actually. From Alcaraz again, it was basically him saying about where Manchester United are actually at. It's widely agreed within the Manchester United hierarchy that Ruben Amorim must receive unwavering support to ensure he has a genuine shot at success. It is important to note that Ruben was chosen by the board. This is a Ineos signing. This is their first manager at Manchester United, coach, whatever you want to call him. And I've said this many a times, and what Alcaraz says there is basically right. It is. It's like they need to back their man. They cannot bring someone in and sack him after bringing him in mid-season. So this summer is going to be a definite attempt at real backing of a coach. So they can then say, look, well, we give you everything. We give you everything. You've got more time on the training ground. You're not in this competition. There's no excuse. We're getting the best Premier League proven players in. We're getting everyone that we can possibly get with the finances we've got available, getting rid of everyone that you don't want at the football club. And if he fails next season, he will be sacked. Ineos cannot sack a man that hasn't been fully backed. If they back him this summer, then they're quite within their rights to say, look, we promised, we kept our end up. You have failed as a coach. That I think is fair. And if they do give him the backing like it's looking like it's going to be this summer, then Ruben hasn't got any excuses either. So that's, I think, where we're actually at. And I do believe that we are going to see a lot more in this summer transfer window, which does take us into the next story as well, which is the need for speed, basically. I'm not quoting, well, I did just quote a line from a film. Top Gun, good film. But a report that has been picked up by several papers that was done originally by the ESPN on Ruben Amorim's transfer demands. Some of the papers have gone in with the line like Ineos and Sir Jim Radcliffe struggling to meet Ruben Amorim's demands and transfer demands. Are they really a weekend? Again, it's been completely blown up by the tabloids, but there is a report out there, and I think this is real, because when you look at everything in play, Man United go back to pre-season. I think it's the end of the first week of July. The first game is on the 19th of July, which is against Leeds, and then we fly out to play the tour in the US, in I think it's New Jersey, Chicago, and Atlanta. So they're Manchester United's games over in the States. What's being said is that Ruben Amorim wants his transfer business done before Manchester United head out on tour on the 22nd of July. Now, yes, they head out on tour. Yes, transfer business needs to be done, but we know that transfer business cannot be done before the end of July. Sorry, the 22nd of July, before we go out for the US part of the pre-season tour. What I think is real in this report, and is what the main thing is in this report, is that Manchester United and Ruben Amorim want the players out of the club that Ruben wants out, so the sale's done. So this is what we've been saying before. You may see the 2 or 3 signings happen in the mix of this next month, but the outgoings are paramount. The outgoings are really important for Manchester United before they go out on tour, and you can understand that. You can understand why he would want his players out of Manchester United before they go on tour. You don't want to be sat on a plane with Tyrell Malacia, Marcus Rashford, Jadon Sancho, Antony, all of these players, Garnacho for that matter as well. You don't want them players all sat on a plane, mixing in with your new players, mixing in with the old players around that you're trying to build a new team and a new culture around. Your culture breakers all sat on that plane going on that tour. It just adds to the issue. And I think Ruben understands this, and that's where the report has come from. I think the real backing, and like what Alcaraz said and what ESPN said, the real backing in Ruben Amorim is getting rid of the players that he needs. Because if there's always the chance that he could just say, look, they're not coming, they're not part of the squad. But that just devalues the player and then causes more of a problem. So if we can get these players out, I said this last night as Kaz was showing me some clips from Rasmus Højlund's game for Denmark. I'm just like, stop the football, please. Just stop playing and stop letting some of these players play games just to show how crap they are. And it just makes it look like it's impossible to move them on because nobody's going to come in for them. So, no, please just stop football now. Let's get these internationals done. One more game to go, thank God. Although saying that, there is the Club World Cup with some teams. But for Manchester United, we just now need to just get this season over and get all of the players out on pre-season, resting, having their family holidays and vacations. Just get them out of the club, get them out of the way, and then let's move on to getting the business done. Because, like I said, if there is outgoings that need to happen and we don't get them done before we end up going onto the full pre-season tour, then it just causes more issues for Ruben. The clean slate factor has been brought up so many times. And I just think it's helpful if everything is done for Ruben and he doesn't need to worry about any of the old headaches. How quickly can United get the business done, though? That's the problem. And that's what we're looking at right now is the main problem. But there are more stories and updates on Manchester United outgoings. One in particular on Alejandro Garnacho as well, and a possible out for him. In terms of Garnacho right now, there are a few reports going around and a few of the papers have picked up on it as well. But Garnacho has been told he can find another club, and El Nazar hope a chance to join his hero Cristiano Ronaldo tempts him. Sorry about that, everybody. I'm just looking at in terms of what this deal is and what it is and what I'm reading into here. We know that Garnacho, we went through it last night with the report from Fabrizio Romano. We covered it in yesterday's show in the afternoon. What we're looking at here, I feel, is Garnacho now, realistically, options he's got as a young player. Where would you want to go? Where would you want to go? I mean, when you look at El Nazar, like, has he got enough time? Yes, he's 20. Could he spend a few years there and earn a fortune playing next to his idol, Cristiano Ronaldo? Yes. It's when I look at players at this age, though, it makes no sense at all. It makes absolutely no sense for Garnacho to go to the Saudi Pro League. But there is an option there. And you know what? Sometimes you just don't know what these players are thinking. You don't know what they're thinking. There are decent players over in the Saudi Pro League. We know there is. And the players actually are getting a little bit younger who are going over there. So maybe there's an avenue there. I've seen this from a couple of reports now. Garnacho has an option and it can move to El Nazar. Playing alongside Ronaldo is the appeal. I mean, I'm probably looking at this a bit snobbishly as a Premier League supporter and a Man United supporter, thinking that why would a young player want to move to the Saudi Pro League? He's got so much more potential to give in the European League. I still think he's going to end up either staying in England or going out on to one of the European clubs. There are multiple options there as now. The only thing with this is it's like Manchester United have said that you're leaving. Obviously, this is a different scenario to Bruno Fernandes because they left it to Bruno to decide whether he wanted to go. And now Garnacho, when you look at his scenario, United are trying to get him out. United are trying to push Garnacho out. And this is through Ruben Amorim mainly. And so would United look at the offer that comes from El Nazar and try and push that forward? Would that work? See, that's what you're looking at now. I feel that United now, in all of this, are just going to look for the best offer. And the player can always say, no, I'm not going. But still, it's there, isn't it? And I just think it's a chance to actually drive the price up for United and maybe an opportunity. I've said last night, I feel like Garnacho's probably the easiest transfer to make, simply because he's not on big wages and it's not going to be an issue for anybody to make it look appealing for him in terms of a new package or contract. The transfer fee, I think, is fair. 50 million, some would say he's worth 60 million. If he's going to El Nazar or there's a chance of him going to the Saudi Pro League, United may see that as an opportunity to go, all right, we want 60 million quid. And that may just start driving that price up for Garnacho. You don't know. You don't know with this one. But I feel like Garnacho definitely over the next couple of weeks we could see movement on that because, like I said last night with Fabrizio Romano on that show, there's a reason why Romano's just broke this news that we already knew that Garnacho's been told he's leaving. This was broke a couple of weeks ago after the Europa League final. But with what Romano come out with last night, I think this is him now knowing that something is actually bubbling and something could actually happen with Garnacho, and that's where we're at. Let's get into some of the comments this morning. There's loads piling in. I've not given you all a chance yet. The Garnacho brothers seem stupid enough to waste his career there. Compost Murph says they might go for it. Possibly, mate. Possibly. Garnacho has a choice of Chelsea, Arsenal, Villa and Napoli, apparently. Any truth? Yep, I covered that last night. He has got a chance. Villa are interested in Garnacho. Obviously, their financial situation is going to determine what happens there. I ran with the story last night of Garnacho to Villa based off Emi Martinez and maybe some kind of deal going on there between the two clubs. We will see. Of course, it's going to take money and Emi Martinez to get Garnacho to Villa. Maybe United jump at that and get one player in. I also said that the sale of Garnacho pretty much confirms Victor Gyökeres coming to Manchester United. So that, I think, again, is a big possibility for Manchester United. But Bayer Leverkusen are also interested in Garnacho. Don't forget about the Erik ten Hag factor, and obviously the money that Leverkusen are generating and players that they need at their club, from Florian Wirtz leaving, Frimpong leaving. They need to reinvest into their side. So big chance Garnacho goes there. Let's see what else we've got here. I think Mbeumo will still come, but United should have gone in with a correct offer to prevent any possibility, as must have no Ange out. Frank in was strong possibility. Steve, to be honest, I'm not even worrying about it. I said it at the top, really. I think I've covered the Mbeumo side of things. I don't think there's any chance that he moves to Spurs anyway. I think it's a made-up story. I think United's bid is fair, and I think United have conducted business quickly. I think some people sometimes just forget, like, this news broke literally less than a week ago with Bryan Mbeumo. He said he wants United. We've already got personal terms agreed. We've already got a bid in, and we already know that we're a couple of days into now negotiating the second bid. The fact that the second bid has not come out as quickly as the first bid did kind of tells me that that one has been accepted and everything's just being ironed out. The longer it takes for the second bid to be talked about or in an official capacity, means that it is being discussed more and is more likely to be the one that gets the job done. So I haven't got any fear at all with what's happening with the Bryan Mbeumo situation. I think United are in a very comfortable position and have done right in the way that they have conducted the business. One bid in, test the water, know where we're at. We're not too far away. Let's sign this out now while in the process of getting personal terms agreed. I do believe that we could hear something. I said this weekend we should hear it. Here we go. It could be tomorrow. It could be Tuesday, right on the deadline. I think the next couple of days are key in this. But United are not stressing. That's the one thing to remember with it. They're not stressing about anything to do with this deal at all. It's just going to be what it is. It will take the time it's necessary, and United will get Mbeumo in. And then we can move on to like what we're talking about here with some of the outgoings of these players, because we need to get some players out, because after this we can't stop. We've said, like, look, Bryan Mbeumo, it's great signing, Cunha, great signing, but he's got to move quickly. We've got to move on to the next one. We've got to get on to UnRivalled and getting this striker in. Like all of the reports have said, Manchester United need a proven goal scorer. He is that, and obviously now the outgoings are going to be the most important part, because I don't think we're going to bring anyone else in substantially until we get at least one or two of these problem players out of the football club. The five that I mentioned there are important for Ruben Amorim in terms of getting them players out. They're the ones that need to be gone. You're talking Garnacho, Malacia, Anthony Sancho and Rashford. They have to be top priority for Manchester United at the moment to get out, because they're the ones that are going to give us the opening to go and get Victor UnRivalled. And that is the most important thing in all of this. In terms of the other outgoings, we've discussed Rasmus Højlund in detail. We did yesterday after what Romano said. Romano saying that Inter Milan are definitely in for Rasmus Højlund. There has been prices thrown here, there and everywhere with it, but there is a general sort of understanding now that the price that Inter Milan will offer Manchester United, and this actually might work because of the situation with United and what we owe on Rasmus Højlund. Their offer is £38 million next summer after taking him on loan this season. And that's his wages fully covered off the books as well. Whether there is a fee for a loan on top of that, I don't know. But Inter Milan are guaranteeing Manchester United £38 million in an obligation. These are the new and latest reports coming out on Rasmus. £38 million obligation. And that comes next season. Now, we all know about obligations, and they put the fear of death in Man United fans because of the Jadon Sancho situation. And Jadon Sancho apparently agreeing to joining Chelsea at the end of the season. Chelsea agreeing with Manchester United to take Jadon Sancho, and then we end up getting him stuck back at Man United. Yeah, we got a £5 million penalty, but we wanted him gone. And this, when you look at Rasmus Højlund, I'm sure Manchester United would give Inter Milan no chance of getting out of this. I'm sure it would be a case of we are doing this deal on the basis that he is gone and he is leaving. Rasmus Højlund talking last night after his game for Denmark, though. I have a contract until 2030, so I expect to play for Manchester United. No. Sorry, mate, it doesn't work like that when you underperform to the levels that you have this season. I do believe he will be moved on. The noises are just too frequent when it comes to Rasmus Højlund. And 38 million next summer. I mean, what do we think about that in the chat, everybody? Get into the comment section, please, people, on Rasmus Højlund. Can you see a loan with obligation happening? A few chats coming in. Living in their heads rent-free since 1993, says Ant. I'm guessing that is United winding everybody up in terms of that super chat. Thank you, mate. Brian says, Bruno has been quiet lately and it seems odd that he hasn't issued a formal statement committing to United. I think he could still move this summer. No, I don't think so, mate. It's quite clear that Bruno Fernandes is staying. Really, he doesn't really have to come out and say anything, I don't think. I think his commitment and staying at United is there. He's contracted in. I honestly don't think he needs to come out and say anything, Brian. But no, I don't. I think because he's not said anything, some people might think that there is still something there. I can't see it, really. I think what's been said, when Romano broke that news, he's staying. El Halal now looking at other targets tells you that Bruno Fernandes is going nowhere this summer now. And we should be happy about that. We need to move on with it. What part will Diego Leon play next season? For us, Mbeumo, Cunha, Gyökeres, a goalkeeper, will make me very positive for next season. Good point to bring up there, Andreas, because we've talked about Man United not being able to get a right wing back in because of the necessary priorities within the team elsewhere. 9, 10s, goalkeeper, 8. Them 5 players, excuse me, need to be, I feel, in the club before anybody else walks through the door. I do, but think about this. Like Diego Leon coming in, left wing back. You've got versatility there. So he will play at left wing back more, well, I'm guessing more than likely. That's the only position I've ever seen him play or reportedly play. Patrick Dorgu can play left and right. So Manchester United may even line up next season. If Diego Leon smashes it and comes right out the box and has an absolute stormer, then you're looking at him possibly playing on the left and Dorgu on the right. You've got the option of Dalot there. You've got Amas on the left still as well. Obviously, Dalot can play left if necessary. You've got very, very versatile players there. Did you see Patrick Dorgu in that Denmark performance, by the way? What was that all about? Wow. Anyway, looking at that, I think Diego Leon, to answer your question, Andreas, I think he could end up being a main part for Manchester United next season, and maybe someone else goes out to the right-hand side because we cannot go out and haven't got the necessary funds with everything else that needs to come first to buy a right wing-back. Obviously, Roger Fernandes has been someone we've been linked with from Braga. I just feel like Manchester United's money is only going to take us so far, and I think it's 4 to 5 players, and it will be without a right wing-back. I'm pretty certain of it. Because I know he wants that midfielder as well. So I think that's Man United's top priority. It has to be. Let's get some more comments in. Don't understand the obsession with burning young players. Why? By pure definition, young players aren't the finished product. But when them young players think they are and are a problem and are demanding through their agents, that's when they become a problem, I think, Jordan, more than anything. Yes, young players should not be hyped up. Eric Ten Hag was a problem when he overplayed the likes of Garnacho and Menu, and then they got in their heads that they were mainstay first-team players. They should still be trying to fight their way into Man United's side. I think Ruben has made this clear, and they don't like it. And if they don't like it and they're going to be a problem, then I'm sorry. The necessary action needs to take place, and sentiment has to go out of the window. Like Nostalgia SC and the love for Manchester United's academy right now has to be put to one side. And Ruben needs the necessaries for now that are going to help him to then build and properly structure in our academy players again into this side. And that's what's important. They need the right structure in place to, I think, to actually get to that level that we know that some of these youngsters can get to. But throwing them in at the deep end and expecting them to be the saviour with a team that has underperformed so badly is the complete wrong way of going about it. Some of these players that have no future, I wouldn't even sell them. I would just terminate their contracts and let them take it to CAS or Employment Tribunal. That's the sort of levels that these players have taken some Man United fans to. Regarding Inter, snatch their hands off, get another backup. Højlund isn't good enough to be a number 2. Chido needs to be loaned out for his development. I don't think Chido's going to be loaned out. Chido will be a main part of Man United's squad, I think, next season. I think there is a real belief that Chido can make another step up, coming from what I've been told at United. So that, I think, is what will happen with Chido next season. Let's see what else we've got today. Is Gyökeres going to come next? In terms of targets to come in, it is going to be Gyökeres. It is definitely going to be Gyökeres or another striker. But the only one we're hearing about at the moment is Victor Gyökeres. He is waiting, and the reason it's gone so cold, apparently, is because he's waiting for Manchester United. That's where we're at with the Gyökeres situation right now. And it is going to be Manchester United's next purchase. The number 9 is next. But that comes after we sell players, which is why we're talking about Garnacho, Rasmus, Sancho leaving. There is an interest in Sancho from West Ham. It was reported again from ESPN last night. There is a tiny little interest from West Ham, but it will blow their wage structure completely to smithereens. And that's always the problem with Jadon Sancho. We know he's not fitting into Chelsea's wage structure. How the hell are West Ham going to make him fit into theirs? They're not. And Jadon Sancho is the one that is the main driving force behind this. And I think Manchester United, to make this happen, have had to drop that price to where it is to try and get Jadon Sancho out the door so someone can compromise with his wage structure. I joined the stream late. What was the news on Mbeumo now? More salty journalism? Question mark. Greg, super chat, thank you, mate. Yes. People trying to make something of absolutely nothing, Greg. We've just completely blown it out, mate. We've had the proper updates. Everything is going ahead with United and Brentford. Bryan Mbeumo only wants United. He's not going to go to Spurs. Just to clarify that. If anyone else is just joining us right now, the top story, a story made up by the Daily Mirror about Bryan Mbeumo going or possibly now being a target for Spurs because Thomas Frank is going to be the next Spurs manager. It's complete and utter garbage. Don't worry about it. Right, Liam says it's hard to get assists when the strikers don't score. If in all fairness, yeah, that is true. Bruno Fernandes should have had a lot more assists this season. I think Ahmad should have had a lot more as well. Even Garnacho should have had some more assists. But we've got a number 9 who cannot hit a cow's ass with a banjo. My favourite line. But again. This is now for Manchester United to deal with, and this is the problem in getting the right price for these players. It's not easy to move players on when they're not performing or if they're seen as a problem at the football club, which is why it's difficult and why the story of Ruben Amorim wanting this business done in terms of getting players out before the pre-season starts. He just doesn't want to be dealing with the issue of players that don't want to be at the club or don't fit at the club. He wants to be dealing with working out where his new players fit, how they fit, and getting them drilled on what he wants from them. That's what Ruben wants to be concentrating on. And there's only a certain amount of people at Manchester United can make that happen. That's Ineos and the new structure. They need to be right on top of this. They need to be giving Ruben Amorim all the time and space that he needs, that's necessary to get to work with. To get to work in this pre-season, basically. So getting players out is massively, massively important for Manchester United. I'm just flicking through everything that is going on right now with anything that's coming out while we've been talking. So just checking through the news. I did talk about another centre-back possibly coming to Manchester United again. There is another report coming out. And it's come from a bowler again. So Portuguese reports saying that Manchester United have reignited their interest in Ousmane Diomande and could make a bid for the Sporting defender in the coming weeks. Liverpool, Arsenal and other clubs around Europe are also interested. Is anybody in the chat in agreement with that? Is anybody in the chat actually with me that United don't need another centre-back and this story cannot be true? Thank you. Yeah, I mean, when you look at what we've got, you look at Harry Maguire, you look at Yoro, Heaven, you've got De Ligt, you've got Mazraoui. Obviously, you've got Lisandro Martinez coming back as well. Lisandro Martinez could be key for Manchester United next season. There is a report going out on Lisandro as well. And this is where I don't think United will be going in for anyone like Diomande. It just doesn't fit in. But a report from Sky saying that Lisandro Martinez, Manchester United are satisfied with Lisandro Martinez and his rehabilitation since his surgery, and the latest reports confirms there is no meniscus tear. And what we've got to look at there is realistically at Manchester United right now, we have an abundance of defenders, I think, all capable of seeing Manchester United through into next season at least, and then maybe the summer after. Manchester United could possibly go and have a look for another centre back. I feel I don't feel like right now is the time to be looking at another centre back. I mean, I get it. Like, there are good ones out there, but we shouldn't be taking funds away from where we need to be spending just because a good player is available when we've already got adequate cover there. If you look at the age of our centre-backs, you're looking at mid-20s for the likes of Lisandro Martinez, Nus Mazraoui, Matthias de Ligt. Then you've got two teenage centre-backs in Yoro and Aidan Heaven. We've got young centre-backs coming through like Kakonki right now. No is the answer to that, I feel. I just don't think United need to be looking at centre-backs right now. But tell me, do you feel like United need to go out and buy a centre-back? I said at the top of the show, there's always been that long-standing interest in Gerard Branthwaite. Look, Gerard Branthwaite is gone. There is no chance that Man United will ever sign Gerard Branthwaite. The ship sailed last summer. Any other centre-backs coming in have to be absolute elite. And I just don't think United are going to buy one. Now, I would be absolutely gobsmacked if United went out and bought another centre-back right now. Raw says with a super chat, I want Diomande, but I want him next year when Slabhead and a few of our older centre-backs leave. There's only really Slabhead leaving because Johnny Evans and Lindelof have gone this summer. Obviously, I don't see anyone else leaving because I just said the age of these players, the contracts that these players are on. United are comfortable. We're actually in a really comfortable position when it comes to centre-back. So I'm not concerned at all about that at the moment. But if Diomande can wait out a year, then, yeah, let's do that deal. I think he's a perfect replacement for Harry Maguire next season. Let's just hope that nobody goes in for Diomande and we can go and get him then. I think that's what we've got to look at importantly in this one. The priority has to be what we're looking at now, which is the midfield and the forward line. That is key in everything right now for Manchester United. And I just don't see us ever... I don't see us... not ever, but I just don't see us moving for the sake of a great centre-back actually being there. Just another update on this, more to what I just said on Lisandro Martinez. United and Licha Martinez are pleased with the rehab since the surgery, confirming no meniscus tear in recent tests carried out last week. So Lisandro Martinez actually will be available and should be part of Manchester United's pre-season squad. It's just everything is falling into place. It's such good news to have someone like Lisandro back. And then just think, in fact, get into the comment section right now. Going into next season, let's just forget about what we're looking at with the strikers and everything like that. Tell me in the comment section right now, who are your three centre-backs going into next season? Good luck with that one, everybody. Who starts for you? This is going to open up a complete can of worms, I think, right now. Buy Diomande now and loan him back for the season. No, we need the money. That's the problem, man. Thanks for the super chat, mate. We need the money. So, obviously, by the way, everybody, if you haven't liked the video already, please do if you're enjoying the content. We're over 500 live likes. Again, this is mega. Please keep them likes coming in. Make sure you have subscribed as well. We could hit 83,000 subscribers today, everybody. So, that's our target for today. If we can do that, that is a mega turnaround. Our target is 90k for the new start of the new season, so we're well on our way to that. We could hit 83k today, so please hit that subscribe button as well, everyone. Who are your centre-backs? Talk to me, everybody. Let's see what we've got. I believe Heaven is being lined up for a midfield role at United. I totally disagree. I'm sorry, Philip, with that one. There's not a chance that he's playing. In his interview, he's already talked about the way that Amorim has told him he's going to be playing at the left of a back three, and that's where it suits him. So I think Heaven has proved that he is the right man for Manchester United going forward at the back. I think he's definite cover for some of them other ones. Maybe even a starter. Yoro, Martinez and De Ligt, says Remy. Let's see what else we've got. Yoro, De Ligt and Maguire, says Asim. Interesting. Didn't expect that one. Let's see. The buyer says, doubt Martinez will be fit at the start of the season. No, if he's back in time for pre-season, he will be fit for the start of the season. Yoro, De Ligt and Heaven. Mazraoui, De Ligt and Martinez. So many different ones. Let's see. This is your best when everyone's available. Heaven, De Ligt, Yoro for sure. Martinez will get another major injury. 100% bro is broken and a dud player. It's not a dud player, but I get what you're saying, the concerns with the injuries. Yoro, De Ligt and Heaven. Heaven's getting a few shouts here, actually. Philip says, Yoro, Heaven, De Ligt. Maguire starts, we need experience, says Nico. Yoro, Maguire and Martinez. Oh, this is what I mean. Look at that all of a sudden. Like, it's actually got to a point where we can't decide. How often do we say that? And how often can we say that we're spoilt for choice when it comes to a certain area of the pitch? And we're not really concerned about any of the 6 centre-backs that we've got actually starting a game. That was the United of old. That was where United used to be, which is great. Okay, let's see. Got another super chat in from Penny Red. Says, morning Adam, if we get Mbeumo, Gyökeres, Cunha and a keeper, I don't see any reason why we aren't in the conversation for the league next season. For the league? Whoa, no, let's just settle down. We need experience. We need experience, first of all, of competing, and then we can talk about the league. I love the enthusiasm, Penny. I love that. Don't get me wrong. And you know I'm the most optimistic and positive person when it comes to Manchester United. I've dropped myself in it many a times before trying to be that way. But yes, we are needing to gain a little bit more experience in competing first of all. But I would say a push top 4 if we get these types of players in. That's where my head is at. That's where my head is at right now. But look, that is your show this morning, everybody. They're the headlines. They're what's going on. There is a lot more to talk about, and we're going to fly across to Football Talks next to continue this conversation. So, if you want to talk some more about everything else that's going on, record transfer windows, what's going on with Man City, Liverpool, and Spurs right now, we're going to be talking about that mainly over on Football Talks in a moment. How are City getting away with what they are? Or why are Spurs getting away with all of these sackings and everything going on? If this was Man United, we'd be absolutely slaughtered right now. That conversation is going to continue over on Football Talks in just a moment's time, everybody. Thank you, mods, in the chat for another absolutely massive show. Thank you again. Everyone who came in with comments, super chats, get involved, please, everybody. A link in the description for this top and many others. A lot of you have been asking on OK Jerseys. They are our kit partners here on Forever United TV. So get involved if you want the kits. 15 quid for a shirt like this, or the one that a lot of people were talking about last night, the purple one, is there in the description, everybody. Get onto that. Use that link. That will give you the discount straight away as well. But for now, that is it. Cheers, everyone. Give the video a like. Hit that subscribe button, please. Let's get to 83k today. And then